Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling completely drained, even though nothing was actually your problem to solve? Maybe a friend is hurting and you immediately start searching for just the right words to fix it. Maybe your adult child is struggling and your mind is just racing with ways to make it easier for them. Maybe your spouse is stressed and somehow you feel responsible to carry the emotional weight of it all. And before you even realize what's happening, you've stepped into rescue mode or fixer mode or even emotional sponge mode. Where you absorb all the pain that was never really yours to hold. What if I told you love doesn't actually require any of that? What if one of the most powerful, healing, Christ-like things you can offer someone is not advice, it's not solutions, it's not relief, but it's actually just your presence? Today, we're talking about something many of us, especially us as women, have been doing our whole lives without even thinking about it or questioning it. We have that urge to rescue, that urge to fix, that urge to take the pain away, and how learning to simply be with someone instead might be the most freeing shift you'll ever make for them and also for you. Let's talk about what it really means to love people without trying to carry what was never yours to carry in the first place. Hi, friends. Welcome to Taking Back Happy. I'm your host, Gina Granville, God's girl, retired homeschool mom of 4, empty nester, GG, essential oil and exercise enthusiast, Christian life coach, and someone who is taking back her own happy. I know many of you feel exactly like me in these midlife years, a sort of loss of direction, but you feel way too young and vibrant to sit on the porch and just watch life go by. What if you could reclaim your life, finding deep joy, renewed passion and purpose, and plenty of adventure in these midlife years? If you are ready to find your spark again, throw on those walking shoes, pop in those earbuds, and join me right here as we take back happy together. Hey, my Taking Back Happy friends, are you in the Facebook group, the Taking Back Happy Facebook group? Hop on in there and join with some other women who are in the same boat as you. We're just all in there trying to figure this thing out and have a solid community and get that spark back in our life again. How about a TBH Insider? Have you joined that? When you become a TBH Insider, you get free weekly emails with the latest podcast, tips on creating a happy mindset, early bird access to special offers, and encouraging Bible devos. If that sounds like something that would be encouraging and inspirational to you, then just click on the link in the notes there in the description. As far back as I can remember, I've always been like a rescuer. Like usually when I was young, it was like with animals. I wanted to adopt all the cats. I wanted to, save the little animals, the chipmunks and this and that and another that were out in the yard. And it was funny because I had cats and they would kill whatever. But for some reason, they didn't kill chipmunks. Like they would kill mice, they would kill rabbits, they would kill other things. And we find really, they bring them home as gifts to us. It was disgusting. But they wouldn't kill chipmunks. And so, but they would chase chipmunks and they would inadvertently hurt them. And so I remember always trying to rescue the little chipmunks and trying to keep them safe from the cats and all that sort of thing. But if we're being honest, most of us didn't wake up one day and decide, hey, I think I'll spend all my life, all my time emotionally managing everybody else around me. And, like we slowly learned over time, like out of love, out of responsibility, out of compassion, and sometimes even out of fear. I think especially, raising kids and that sort of thing. And usually, it did start with that urge to rescue, but also it's the moment when someone we love is hurting or they're struggling or they're uncomfortable and everything in us just rises up and says, I have to do something about this. So let's talk about why rescuing feels so natural, but it might not actually be the loving response that we think it is. So my first point is we do try the rescue. And what this looks like, it could be like jumping in to protect someone from their discomfort. It could be just wanting to shield adult children from consequences. It could be taking emotional responsibility for how others feel. Like, why do we do it? I think it comes from a good place. I think it comes from a good place in our heart, but often it's love mixed with fear. It's our own discomfort with watching somebody else be in pain or suffer or go through something hard. It's a belief that a good woman prevents suffering, right? When I was in college, I dated a guy that was an alcoholic. And I don't know that I realized it at first. I was young and dumb and but over time I did realize it. And I always felt like I had to rescue him. I knew he was suffering. I knew there was consequences with his job. There was consequences when he lost his license. There was consequences even with our relationship. And sometimes, it just wasn't very healthy. I remember getting into this kind of like rescue mode. This was before he did end up going to AA, but before he did that, I would literally go every morning and I would hide his alcohol. Because I was afraid, oh, he's going to drink it. He's going to go to work. I got to protect him from himself, basically. And so I would take these bottles of alcohol and I would hide them in my dryer. And for some reason, he never found them. But, he just drank other alcohol. He just got beer on the way to work, right? You can't save someone else. You can't rescue someone else. That's kind of a drastic example. And, that really was someone that truly needed help. Not my help, but help. But, when we try to rescue someone, we can unintentionally say, you can't handle this. You can't handle this without me. You need me to handle this for you. And, pain is often a part of growth. It's really not something that we want to interrupt. So loving someone doesn't mean like removing all their struggle. It means trusting God's work in their process, not you being their God, not you coming in, on that white horse and fixing everything, but really trusting God. Psalm 34:18 reminds us, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. This brings me to our next point. We try to fix. What this can look like is like giving advice too quickly, offering solutions even before we're listening to someone. Have you ever been listening to your friend and she's telling you about her boyfriend and something he did, and you're already forming all these opinions, oh, I don't like this guy or whatever. And you're literally not even listening to the rest of her story. You're already offering solutions and what she needs to do, dump that guy, get out of there. Or, you're mentally working out, you're thinking in your head, okay, answers. Well, she's still explaining the whole story to you. So let's examine why we do it. Fixing makes us feel useful and in control. And also, like, silence feels awkward. We think that wisdom equals answers. But the truth is, most people don't need a solution. They just need to feel seen and heard. She just needs you to listen to her story about the boyfriend and maybe agree with her, maybe give her that, yeah, you go, girl. But just listen to her because she's not asking you whether she should break up with him or not. She's just telling you, oh, I was really annoyed by this thing. And she just wants you to sit with her in that. Fixing can actually shut down like vulnerability. So we need to reframe on that. We need to realize that our presence is much better than our problem solving. Listening without correcting or recommending or, do what I say. That is really a powerful act of love when you're just listening without any agenda. And the third point is we try to take the pain away. Sometimes what this looks like is like even minimizing what that person is feeling or what that person is thinking. It'll be okay. At least it's not this or this, or we're like rushing someone toward hope before they're even ready, or we're like carrying their emotional weight like it's our own, like we got their emotional weight as our little backpack on our back. I think we do that for a couple reasons. One is the pain just makes us uncomfortable. Like we're uncomfortable seeing them suffer. We don't want to see the people we love suffer, but also we're uncomfortable just feeling that pain. And we confuse like empathy with absorbing pain. When you're talking to a friend or a family member who's been through something super painful, maybe they lost a loved one, or maybe they just went through a divorce or something like super traumatic like that, we do try to give them like that instant happy answer, like, it's okay, that didn't work out, but, I know God's got to, and a lot of times we use God in that way. I mean, we definitely mean well. We definitely mean well when we do it. But how many times have you given someone kind of like a cliche answer, well, God has someone better for you, or like, you know, some of those things that we say when people pass away, God just made sure they weren't suffering anymore. And now that they're not suffering, you can just feel good now. And people may not be ready for that yet. They might just want to sit there and feel the pain and have you just sit there and be with them. This is one area that I really struggle in with my adult children, because I don't want them to feel the pain. I don't want them to go through the hard stuff. I want them to have a better life than I ever had. And I don't want them to have the suffering. But, that's just part of life. That's just going to happen. And I think I kind of fall back, when they're little, you pick them up and you kiss their boo boos and you make it all right. But as an adult to an adult, that's not your job to make their pain go away. Your job is just to, be a friend and be present, be a listening ear. The truth of the matter is you can sit with pain without owning it, even if it is your own kids, even if it is your own parents or your best friends. You don't have to own that. You just have to be present and be a support to them. Compassion doesn't require that we just collapse and we just, try to do all these things, rescue and fix and take the pain away. Being present means you're telling them you're not alone and you're strong enough to handle whatever this is, to walk through whatever is going on. And I'm going to be right here with you, right beside you. But I'm not taking your pain away. I'm not fixing things. I'm not rescuing you. Because the more that we do that, the less that they believe in themselves, the more that they even doubt themselves, like, oh, I don't know if I can even do this life if I don't have this person, running in to help me. Jesus is such a good example of kind of like modeling how to be present with someone without trying to fix everything. And one of the things I was thinking about is like when he came to the home of Mary and Martha after Lazarus had died, he already knew the end of the story. He already knew what he was going to do. He knew he was going to, resurrect Lazarus. He knew how everything was going to end up. But when Mary comes to him and like she's, crying and weeping and so upset, he doesn't like explain everything to her. He doesn't like correct her and tell her, you shouldn't be sad about that because I have the power to do this or that. He doesn't try to rush in and fix the situation. He doesn't, instantly run over and raise Lazarus from the dead. He literally weeps with her. He's present with her in that moment. He's present with her pain. A lot of times they say it's the shortest verse in the Bible, but also the most powerful, right? Jesus wept. He enters into grief with her. He sits with her. He stands with her. He shares her sorrow with her. And that's how we want to be. We want to know that our presence is enough. So, my Taken Back Happy friends, today I am reminding you we don't have to rescue. We don't have to fix. We do not have to take the pain away. Love doesn't always have to fix something or solve something to be powerful. What if the most healing thing we can offer people in our lives is simply our presence, simply to stay, to listen without rushing them, to care without having to carry all their burdens, to sit beside someone without trying to without telling them what they should do next. Our presence is enough. Our presence says, you are not alone. You don't scare me with your pain. I can handle this pain that you're sharing with me. I trust God is working here, even if we don't see it right now, even if I don't understand how, He's working. And the beautiful truth is, this kind of love doesn't just free the people around you, it literally frees you. So, my Taking Back Happy friends, if you want a place where you can practice this presence, just being present in someone else's life, the Taking Back Happy Facebook group is a great place to do that. You can encourage other people. You can listen to their stories. You can share your story. All those things that just show us that we can show up and be present for someone else. And of course, we're going to do it with our loved ones, our family, our friends, the people that are most important to us, because our presence is our best present we can give anyone. If this podcast blessed and encouraged you today, I'd love for you to share it with your friends. You can take a screenshot and share it in your stories, but make sure you tag me at Gina Granville so we can connect. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure you join my Taking Back Happy Facebook group. I'll meet you back here soon, and we'll continue taking back happy together.